And the Corpus Christi City Council has some big items on tomorrow's agenda, including asking for federal help to repair Packery Channel. The word is it's going to take about $15 million to fund those repairs. Of course, Packery Channel damaged as a result of Hurricane Harvey back in August of 2017. The damage includes significant erosion along the shoreline. The word is the city still has to come up with about 10% of the cost of repairs.
Several methods of plan design, and so depending on which one is authorized, that'll determine how much is 10% of that, and then we would identify a funding source at that particular point in time.
No word yet on when the repair work, though, would actually begin.